Hello. If you're a Joplin resident, I'd like to take a few minutes and have a conversation with you. I think if you're a resident and you drive through the city of Joplin, you can't help but notice the multitude of panhandlers, the homelessness that is rampant throughout our city. You can't go to any park in Joplin without 5, 6, 10, 13, 15 homeless people. And I'm not trying to be insensitive or degrade, but I'm trying to bring attention to the leadership of our city about our concerns as citizens. I mean, we pay taxes. We pay quite a bit of taxes, actually, and we just got taxed for park rangers to police our parks. I have yet to see a park ranger, and I've yet to go to a park where there was not at least one homeless person that had a cart, a basket, a sleeping bag, trash strewn throughout the park. So I'm concerned. So I'd like to touch on about just a few things. First, I'm going to show you a map here in a second. We're going to get to that. I'm going to show you a map that shows hot spots in Joplin. And I know, if you live in Joplin, you know where they are. They're on Range Line and 32nd entrance into Sam's. There's always a panhandler or multiple panhandlers there. There's also a motel close by where we've had lots of violent crime, lots of violence, gunshots, lots of illegal. I can't say illegal because I can't say that for sure, but there's lots of rumors that there's a lot of illegal activity going out of these motels. Look at 15th and Range Line, the entrance into Walmart. There's always panhandlers there. They park their cars out back, and to be honest, it's a lot nicer than my car. I mean, I have a 2003 and a 2014 vehicle. So it's not like they're hurting that much for money. They have a nice vehicle. And also, if you go on into the Walmart parking lot, there's about typically 5 to 6 vehicles that's parked there. You can tell they're living there. Today, I actually went by there, and one had a tent right there in the grass. And they have signs in their windows, panhandling. I just want to know if you guys are concerned about it like I am. I mean, I don't hate these people. I don't dislike these people. Actually, I'm quite concerned for these people because it's getting ready to be winter. The temperatures are going to drop, and these people are going to freeze. They're going to be looking for shelter. That means any old buildings that are out there, anywhere they can find shelter. I don't really want to focus on the whole, non-government organizations. There's some great ones in our community, and they do a great job. I just don't really want to get into that. We'll get into that at another time. But I do appreciate their services, and I appreciate all they do and the people that volunteer for them. They do a great job, and we need to support them more. But what can you and I do? What can you as you and I as just everyday people? We don't have any leadership positions. We don't own major businesses that are donating to campaigns and can pick up a call, and I can say, hey, Doug, I got a problem. Can you help me? And he goes, oh, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, you're the CEO of who? No, we're just everyday people. So, one of the problems I got is how do you communicate with these leaders? First of all, our elected mayor is Mayor Doug Lawson. Our mayor pro tem is Mr. Keenan Cortez. I have him right here on the screen just so you know who they are. I'm sure you all know them. I'm sure they're great people, and they've got great things to do and great plans for the city of Joplin. But right now, at this present moment, we have an emergency. And this emergency is we're being overran by professional panhandlers. We've got some major criminals. We have homeless people that keep arriving from I don't know where. And my problem is I don't know if the city has a strategy in place. I don't know if they have a plan. I haven't seen one. I've looked for an ordinance addressing homelessness and panhandling. There is no ordinance. I will direct you to ordinance number 2023-147. I think this is an excellent start. I think, like a lot of cities in Joplin, and even the state of Missouri has issued a new ordinance about panhandling along state highways. So, I mean, if you have the time, take a read through this. I have to ask the city, have you thought of a communications plan, how to get this out to the citizens so they understand that it might be breaking the law to give them money at a busy intersection or a major roadway? Have you educated the shelters where a lot of these panhandlers are? Have you put up any billboards and letting them know that panhandling could be illegal if you're taking money out of your pocket and giving it, or a motorist is giving them money? And another question is, have we communicated that to the police? Are they trained to and equipped to deal with this new ordinance? You know, I went down to the police station the other day because I wanted to go to a park. I went to 3 of them, and I couldn't find an empty gazebo because there were homeless people literally in sleeping bags. Some had dogs tied to poles with water bowls and trash everywhere, drug paraphernalia. So I said, you know what? If I'm not going to do something, who is? So I got in my car, and I went down to the police department, and I told them what was going on. They said, really, there's nothing we can do unless they're on the sidewalks. I said, okay. I appreciate it. I waited there 30 minutes for him to come talk to me. Really nice guy. But it didn't help me any. So I'm kind of like you. What do we do? I don't feel like, can we do anything? I think we can. But I think it's going to be us doing something, not the city doing something. We are the city. The mayor, the city council, they represent us. We elected them. Several of these council members, I worked hard to get them elected. And this is why I'm making this video, because you know what? I sent them a letter, and I requested to communicate with them. I just wanted to communicate with them. I wanted to find out what's going on, and I wanted them to say, I really was looking for, hey, Donnie, hey, rest assured, we're working hard on this. We know it's an issue. We appreciate you taking the time to write us this letter. And by the way, we did have the city attorney contact you. You know what? I sent the letter not to the city attorney. I sent it to the mayor. I sent it to the city council. And you know what I got back? Nothing. Zero. Not even a, hey, I appreciate it. I'll look into it. Nothing. So you know what? I waited another week. And then I sent a second letter. So this second letter, which I will, actually, let me just pull up the first letter. So I'll show you what I wrote, okay? Let's look at this real quick. I basically said, hey, I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. I just want to bring to your attention the growing concern of panhandlers at intersections and busy roadways. Would like to inform you of, the new law from the state. I thought, well, heck, maybe they don't even know about it. The Missouri Revised Statute of 574.015 outlines restrictions on panhandling and soliciting near highways, while ordinance number 8042 of Kansas City regulates panhandling activities in the city. So I broke all this out, and I also wrote in the letter, I said, hey, listen, to be situation aware, we kind of got to know what crime is happening in and around us. Almost every city out there, you can get on the police department website, and you can pull up a crime map, and it'll have a map, a literal Google map that has, every different type of arrest made, whether it's burglary, auto theft, assault, whatever it might be. You can pull it up and you can actually look at the date, the time, and the location. Why is that important? Because I want to know what's happening in and around my neighborhood. I want to know when somebody's breaking into cars. I want to know when there's a pedophile living next to the park. I want to know these things, right? And that's a good way to recognize trends. That's one way that you can help keep your community safe, by being educated, by having situational awareness of what's going on around you. So I brought this up to their attention about The only data you can even find is from 2016 to 2019. There's nothing relevant on the city website or the Joplin website, police department website when it comes to crime stats. We don't need to know what happened in 2016 and 2019. They're giving you a fake and a nod when they put something on Facebook about how many calls of service they had. That is to show you that they're working hard and they're underpaid, which they are, and I know they are, and I mean that wholeheartedly. They're overworked, underpaid, and they deal with so much crap that I wouldn't even want to begin to get into that. So my hat's off to these guys. My hat's off to those guys, to the police department, to the detectives, to the guys that are out there taking the traffic reports. They work their butt off every day. But my concern is with the city manager, the city leadership. Why are you not providing relevant data to the citizens of Joplin so that we can make better decisions, not to help ourselves, but to help you? We know you're just one of us being elected, and you gotta hold that position. But not you, city manager. You got hired. You're getting paid. I mean, and that's the other thing I got a question about. Our city council, most cities you can say, hey, we elected the mayor, now we can hold that guy accountable. But who do you hold accountable at the city? It's like Knights of the Round Table, but there's no knights, right? Everybody wants to shift the blame. Well, this, that. Well, who do you call? So if you have a problem, how do you communicate with leadership, the mayor, the city council members? Well, I chose to write a written letter, and it's right here in front of you. You can look at it. I had some real good questions. Well, I thought were good questions. Maybe not great questions, but how many panhandlers are in our city daily? Mr. Mayor, do you have that information? If no, why not? How many panhandlers have a violent history? Do you know it, Mr. Mayor? If you don't, why not? How many panhandlers are from out of state? How many are living in the streets? How many beds are filled at every shelter? How many beds are there total? How many people are sleeping in our parks daily? I can tell you how many are, because I've made it a point now. I go in at 10 o'clock in the morning and I count how many people are sleeping in the parks. I take photos. I post it onto an interactive map. I go in the afternoon just so I can say, well, maybe this is a one-off. Maybe it's not really happening every day. But no, it's happening every day. As a mayor, are you just filling a slot so you can put it in a resume or tell your buddies or say, hey, I'm the mayor? Or are you actually functioning like a mayor? That's one of the questions I have about the city organizational structure. There's nobody to hold accountable. The council kind of, this time you got seniority, you'll be mayor. Next time you'll be mayor. I want somebody that we can hold accountable. I want somebody that's going to return my letter when I write it. Who is that responsibility? Mr. Mayor, how do we communicate with you? I don't know. I've tried a letter. So now you kind of pissed me off. It's kind of like, okay, if you don't, you wanted my donations. You wanted us to go out and canvass for you. And there's several other, I'd say there's a couple other council members, 2 to 3, that I proactively campaigned for and worked hard, behind the scenes. I won't write. Well, actually, let me write their names down. Kate Spencer, Mark Farnham, Gary Shaw. It's because I knew them personally. I knew what they stood for. And, and I said, okay, yeah, let's jump in. Let's get these people elected. Well, you know what? I never got a letter back from Kate Spencer, Mark Farnham, Gary Shaw, Mr. Lawson. I never got a letter back from you. But you did shake my hand at the Greenhouse Coffee Shop when you were trying to get my vote. And you're very open to talk. But where are you? We don't want to hold you. We don't want to blame you. We want to talk to you. We want to help you. So how do we communicate with you? We want to know you have a solid plan. I want to see you have a metrics in place. I want to see you have phased goals. In 6 months, is panhandling going to be down by 60%? What are the data that you're going to put up on the website to show us? Today, we probably have 60 And on any given time, 60 panhandlers on our streets. We probably have 150 homeless people at any given time in our parks and hidden areas around town. I want to know how many are violent criminals. I want to know how many times the police have engaged them to get out of their sleeping bags and get out of the park. Or the park rangers. I want to know where they're at. So, okay, I'll get off my tirade. But I want to show you. So nobody responded after my first letter but the city attorney. And again, my hat's off to him. He did respond, and he was very pleasant, very articulate, and I understood exactly where he's coming from. So that first letter is on September 1st. This second letter is on September 8th, right? As you can see, I addressed it to Mr. Lawson, Cortez, the whole gang, right? The esteemed city council, which I do have a great respect for. I have a great respect for the position and the hard work that they have to do. I just want to make sure that they know that when you take that job, you have responsibilities, and that communicating with your constituents, communicating with your citizens is one of them. Not one-way communication, but two-way communication. So here's my second letter. I told them, hey, I hope this finds you in great health, and I appreciate the city attorney contacting me. But right here I said, I must admit my disappointment that not one leadership official, not the city mayor, not one city council member, took the time to just click respond on my email that would, all you had to do was say, Donnie, thanks for taking the time to write this letter and pointing some of these things out. Let us get some answers and we'll get back to you. Or, hey, we're working in the right direction. I can assure you that. Nothing. I didn't get nothing from them. So I decided to write this second letter. And that's what I want to bring up. There's a difference between leadership and staff. In the military, the commander was the accountable one. The commander had a staff. He had legal staff. He had human resourcing staff, an operations staff, logistics, and all of them, they provided courses of actions and estimates and statistics and relevant information and intelligence, let's call it, so that the leaders could make solid, sound decisions. So that's what I'm asking from our leaders. Is the staff running everything? And the reason I ask you that is because when I look on the staff directory, let's go back here real quick. That's the mayor. That's the pro tem mayor. This is Mrs. Williams, the council member, Mrs. Spencer, Mr. Tatar, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Koppel, Mr. Stinnett, and Mr. Mark Farnham. Oh, before I forget, after my second letter, Mark Farnham replied to my email and said, hey, I thought the city attorney reached out to you. I said, yeah. But that's when I want to make sure the city council knows that you're leaders. You're not staff. Your staff doesn't speak for you. And they don't make your decisions. They recommend things for you. Now, hey, you want to delegate it to the city attorney? I gotcha. But I'm sorry. I spent, me and a lot of these citizens here, we spend a lot of time trying to get you into office, making sure we got good quality people on the board. Sometimes all you want is a response. And when you don't respond in writing, that is very concerning. Or if you don't just send an email or you can shoot a call, nothing. There ain't nothing. So, one thing I want to bring up, what is this right here? Look at this website. It says General Council Members. Now, are you leaders or are you staff? Because here it says staff name. So it almost acts like the city treats you guys like, I don't know, the freshman class that comes in and the staff is the seniors. Like, they're green behind the ears. We'll make all the decisions. You just make them sign the paperwork. So I got to ask you, I'm looking at your website. Why does it not say city council members here? Why does it say staff? Staff name, Christina Williams, Doug Lawson. You're the mayor. You're not staff. I know this is a database on a website. I got it. I'm not stupid. I know whoever your IT guy is just wanted to be lazy and write one staff name. it was easier for him. I got you. But I'll just be honest, you're not staff. You are the leadership, okay? Love you guys, but we're getting frustrated when we drive through our cities. We can't even go to our own park with our kids. We can't go stop at any intersection without somebody sticking a sign in our face. We're getting tired of it. That's all I can say. When I get back to communication, Joplin City Council mayor, right? Communication. The city council member, the city council, I'm trying to find it here. So the city council amends the decorum rules. So, and I'm bringing this up for a point. You want us to communicate with you, so we write you a letter, a very respectful letter, a very formal letter, and very politely requested some information. And I got nothing. I didn't get any response. So what's the next level? I decided, okay, I'll get on Facebook. Maybe you can peer pressure them in. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. But then I started really thinking about it. I'm not sure Mr. Lawson understands the Constitution or understands the difference between leadership and staff. I don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does understand it and just says, hey, you're not important enough for me to get on the email and say, hey, we're looking into it. Appreciate your input. Thank you. That's all it took. Man, you wouldn't even hear in this podcast. I even started a website and YouTube. That's how frustrated I am with the Joplin City Mayor. I want you to lead. You are not staff. So I want to play something. So if we can't communicate in writing, and then, so most people say, okay, well, let me just fill out all the paperwork, the erroneous, all this paperwork. Let me look. Do I have it here anywhere? I don't have it. Anyway, so let's play this little clip from the mayor. So now, and I've heard Mr. Evans. I know Brian Evans. I know he's very critical, very cutting. I've never heard him say a cuss word. I've never heard him be inappropriate. I heard him talk bluntly and directly about his concerns with financial irregularities. He wants a state audit. I've heard these things, and I sometimes I wonder why people sign up and go to these board meetings is because they are frustrated because you don't communicate. You don't answer emails. You don't answer phone calls. So is this concerning for you all out there? Listen to this clip.
Well, I've been mayor for a little while, and there's been a few times I've gone home embarrassed and ashamed.
Right now, I'm embarrassed and ashamed of the city council. I am. I take that back. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there. I haven't given up on them. I respect all the individuals in there as great people. I know they have a good heart, and they're really trying to do the right thing. I just don't quite know if they understand the difference between leadership and staff and communication. So let's continue on with Mr. Lawson, the mayor.
That I allowed somebody at the lectern to insult, to bully city employees.
So I got a question. How do you bully somebody by asking for financial accountability? Is that bullying? I'll be honest with you. When you write an amendment to the decorum rules, it almost sounds like you're hiding something. I don't think you are. I don't think you're smart enough to even know how to get in there and see what the budget says. I don't know if you know how to read a budget. I'm not trying to be mean. I just don't think you've had enough time in the position to really understand what's going on. But right out of the gate, you want a guy that comes up and questions you, and you want to shut him up?
And it's amazing how much bullying a person can do in 5 minutes. In some sense, I felt powerless because they have the right to speak. And I was looking forward to having this bill just to allow me to perhaps interrupt somebody that is verbally assaulting one of
Why do we have to worry about you interrupting? In your decorum notes, it says you will not address any of the concerns of the speakers. You're not to respond to any of their concerns. It's written in the on your website. So why not let people voice their frustrations? This is where, if you're not going to let them voice their frustrations, you're going to have a lot of angry people that have no outlet to communicate with you. I just want you to understand that, Mr. Lawson, the mayor of Joplin, Missouri.
our employees. I'm not concerned terribly about the city council, but I am very concerned about employees that work for our city and work very hard and deserve the respect of everybody. So
they do deserve our respect, and we appreciate all their hard work. However, we deserve your respect, and if you won't communicate with us, it's a lack of respect. How about an email? How about a phone call? Mr. Mayor, real quick. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I just want to go through just one last thing here with you. I've spent a lot of time putting this together. I want to just show you the residents of Joplin what's going on in our streets. I mean, in this neighborhood here, you had it was auto thieves stealing cars, right? Here, look. You have people sleeping at the bus stop at 9 o'clock in the morning on August 19th, okay? Here, you got people sleeping on the picnic tables. I just didn't have time to take a picture of it, all right? Here, I did have time to take a picture, and that's today, I came in, I want to go to the park with my kid. I homeschool my kids, want to play some basketball. Look, 3 people laying on the floor, and I went back later in the day. All their stuff's still there with one person watching all of it. Okay, that's at Cunningham Park. All right, this is 32nd in Connecticut, right, on September 18th, panhandling. All right. Let's go over here to 7th and Maiden Lane. This is August 9th, and I felt really bad for this lady. Obviously, either under the influence, very high. She was making obscene gestures, acting really out of sorts. So I don't know if she's mentally ill or under the influence, but she definitely needed help. Panhandling. So, this guy here, his sign says disabled veteran. Does anybody know this guy? How can we help him? If you're a disabled veteran, you're making, they have a disability compensation for veterans. If he's not getting compensation, we need to get this guy. We need to talk to this guy. Where's our health resources? Who's down there asking, sir, can I take you up to the Veterans Clinic to get you enrolled for VA disability? We can get you health screened. There's all kinds of benefits for veterans. All you got to do is show your ID. And who's helping this guy? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stop next time and I'm going to talk to this guy and see if I can help him. This is another thing. Over there on 7th and Maiden Lane, I saw this guy. He's acting real weird, fidgeting, looked under the influence, had a sign up. And then he starts walking back. And he walked like almost a half a mile over there where that call center used to be. And he looked both ways, and he had this sign for panhandling, and he hid it in between 2 buildings. And then he immediately walked back, and he went into Access Family Care. I don't know. Do these people need treatment? Do they need help? How do we get them help? Are they getting your money and going in? And I don't know what they're doing, but it is sad, and we do need to help them somehow. I'm almost finished here. I just got a few more hot spots. I'm trying to show you the hot spots in Joplin. Here's Range Line. I'm sorry, this is Main Street. This is a full mattress here. Let me get it. Somebody else posted another one that's close. So this is a full mattress, all her belongings, a shopping cart. Earlier in the day, she was at the Spiva Park, fully laid out, sleeping. Here is Spiva Park, fully laid out all throughout the day. What's funny, not funny. What's sad about this one is I was driving by, taking my kids to work, my oldest to work. The sprinklers kicked on in Spiva Park. So obviously these people knew what time they kicked on, moved their sleeping bags and everything out on the sidewalk, and were just sleeping out on the sidewalk during the day. I've just got a few more spots here I want to get with you guys. Here on Rangeline. So, this car was here for over 30 days. Over 30 days. Just parking there and then staging for panhandling. These people were here maybe a week or so, panhandling. Today I walked up there and this dude's got a tent set up. This is the other. Last September 6th, this guy was just laid out on his hood sleeping. We do have, there are parks, there are RV rental places you can park in that are safe, that are attended, that have electricity. That's what those are attended for. My question is, the people that own these private property, the parking lots, do you not care about your customers? Do you not care about their safety? Do you not care about them every time they walk through your parking lot or to your corner that they're getting harassed for money or panhandling? I mean, at what point do you want to just call in and say, what can we do about this? So let's look out here on, this is the entrance into Sam's. This person was just standing in the middle of the road with his hands in his pants. It looked extremely like he's under the influence or a bit confused, and I'm not sure which. Again. All right. That's really all I want to talk to you about. I would ask any of you out there, if you want to get involved, write a letter, write an email. Ask the hard questions. Ask them if they have a plan in place. Ask them if there's a metrics that they're measuring the effectiveness of their strategy. Do they have a communication plan? Are they getting the police trained up for the new ordinance? What are they going to do in the wintertime? How many beds are available? Let's be a part of the solution, not of the problem. This wasn't a gripe session. This was a call to action. Let's help our community locally.